Gideon stands, swallowed by the sea of red clouds, the heat pulsing through his veins, fueling his rage. His heart thunders in his chest, and as the mist curls around him, the flame dragonoids emerge, just as they always do. Rage floods his mind. His fists tighten, his muscles burn, and without a thought, he charges. The battle is brutal, chaotic, each strike fueled by blind fury, each opponent falling under the weight of his blows. But something is different this time. As the fight rages on, as the bodies pile, a sound cuts through the storm of rage. It's faint at first, like a whisper coming from far away. As though traveling down a long tunnel, his name. Someone is calling his name. He doesn't hear it fully, not at first, but it pulls at him, just enough to slow his strikes. The dragonoids fall more easily, almost too easily, and then the sound again, clearer this time. His name, soft and sad. Gideon blinks, and in the space between his strikes, something shifts. The rage, once so powerful, begins to falter. And as he lifts his weapon for another blow, he hesitates. There, just ahead of him, he sees her. A fairy, small and radiant, hovers in the air. Her eyes shimmer with sadness, and her voice, now fully audible, pulls him from the haze of his fury. She calls to him again, softer now, as if afraid of what he might do if she spoke too loudly. "Gideon?" she whispers, her voice laced with sorrow. He breathes deeply, his vision clearing. The battlefield fades, the enemies vanish, and all that remains is the fairy. She no longer looks scared, but hopeful. Her face softens, a small smile crossing her lips as his rage finally slips away. She says nothing, but her happiness speaks volumes. Gideon watches as she turns, gliding gently through the air, heading toward a wooden pier that stretches out into the nothingness. His eyes follow her, and there, at the end of the pier, sits the old man, the draconic god, cloaked in shadows, waiting. The fairy floats closer to the old man, and just as Gideon steps forward to approach, she disappears, her presence leaving the air feeling lighter, as though she was never there at all. Gideon pauses, the space now quiet, his breath steady. His hands are no longer clenched. He walks toward the old man, the mist swirling around them, still a deep red, but with flickers of blue just at the edges. Ah, the rage of the mighty barbarian, the old man rasps, without lifting his head. His voice is ancient, heavy with wisdom and something deeper, power. It is a beautiful thing, is it not? The flame that destroys everything in its path, unyielding, uncontrollable. Gideon tenses at the words. There's no mockery in the god's tone, but the truth of it cuts deep. He stays silent, uncertain of what to say. But rage without direction, without reason, is empty. The god gestures lazily to the pier around them, and the red mist slowly shifts, fades, transforming into a deep blue. Lightning cracks softly in the distance, as if the very air is changing in response to the god's presence. You felt it, didn't you? The power, the strength, the meaninglessness of it all. Gideon's mouth goes dry. What are you trying to say? The old man smiles, a small, knowing smile, barely visible under the hood of his cloak. I'm saying that your rage is a gift, yes, but a burden too. The power you hold is not in the rage itself, but in your choice to wield it, to control it. His voice deepens, like thunder rumbling far away. You are not just a beast, you are timeless, and with that comes responsibility, to understand when to unleash that fury, and when to hold it back. As the god speaks, Gideon feels something stir within him, like a shift in the air, and for the briefest of moments, he sees it, a flash, an image of himself, standing tall, powerful, but calm. The rage is still there, but it's tempered, focused. The vision is fleeting, barely a second long, but it shakes him to his core. That was a path, the god continues, one of many. In time, you will learn that chaos itself holds many branches. Your rage is but one. Gideon blinks, trying to make sense of what just happened. His heart pounds, not from rage, but from something else, a dawning realization. What are you asking me to do? The god's eyes gleam, and he extends a hand. I ask you to look at the choices already before you, for you have carried them long before this moment. They are yours to command. In a flash, the air around Gideon hums with energy, and 3 items begin to manifest on his person. The first, a simple necklace with a dull metal chain that hums with latent energy. The pendant is a cloudy quartz gem, within which faint arcs of lightning flash. Ushumgal's chain, the god intones. It channels lightning and the echoes of forgotten wars. Your enemies will feel the reflection of their own fury as lightning lashes out from this ancient conduit. With each strike, the storms of old battlefields will answer. The second, smooth metallic bracers that seem to pulse faintly with ancient glyphs. Namtar Zalku, the god continues, his voice a low rumble. With these, time will shift to your will. Bend the flow of battle, slow time, speed it up, and control the chaos. The bracers speak with the rhythm of a long-lost time, and in quiet moments, the past may reveal itself to you. The third, an ethereal weapon, not forged of mortal steel but called from the very storm itself. It crackles with energy as it takes the form of a great axe or war hammer in Gideon's hand. Miru Zamu, the god whispers, summon the storm into your grasp, wield the force of a forgotten era. It is not just a weapon, it is the power of the primordial dragonborn. Throw it and step through time to where it lands, as if you walk between moments. Gideon feels each item on his body as if it had always been there, heavy with the weight of untold power. You have already chosen, whether you realize it or not. What remains is not which weapon you will wield, but how you will wield it, which path of chaos you will walk. The god's voice lowers, barely more than a whisper now, but it reverberates through Gideon's very soul. That is the choice that defines you. The blue mist swirls again, the lightning flickering closer now, and the god's form begins to blur. But his presence lingers, heavy and undeniable. Gideon feels the weight of it, the same presence he will carry with him, the same power that others will one day see in him. And then, the pier, the mist, the god, all of it begins to fade. The world around Gideon dissolves into the mist once more, but before it's all gone, the god's voice echoes one final time, calm, steady, and eternal. Choose wisely, Gideon, not with your rage, but with your soul.